Hey team, it's Jad and Locke here to give you the lowdown on a podcast you should add to your playlist.
Brooke Blurton and Maddie Mills host the First Things First podcast, and in it they share their personal yarns through a First Nations lens.
It's a raw, honest and unfiltered look into the lives of both Brooke and Maddie.
Search for First Things First wherever you get your podcasts.
This podcast was recorded on the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation.
Guys, just a little disclaimer. If you've got any kiddies in the car under the age of, let's say, 12, you might not want to listen to this around them.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us in the world. We appreciate having you with us for another week of Mad About You.
Do you reckon you'll ever say anything else?
No, I like it. It's like a motif.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and wherever you are, it's 5 p.m. somewhere.
Feel free to, you could prepare a start or a whole pod even. And
all right. Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for coming back. Appreciate it. Did you leave a review last time? Because if you didn't, we know.
I feel like that's exactly what I said. But guys, this week on the episode, we are closing the loop that we opened last week, which was crazy things that you guys have dealt with in relationships, which you now realize were kind of batshit crazy because there are a little few too many submissions to cap it at one episode. So we have a few outrageous stories in that regard for you guys. And then our Ask Mum and Dad comes from a girl who is struggling with the close proximity that her ex-partner is to her new boyfriend.
Oh.
You'll love it.
I'm so excited.
Well, I'm sure you'll have, your 25 cents to put in. Now, guys, just quickly before we get into your horror stories, a listener actually sent me an interesting question, which I wanted to bring up with Jad. And I haven't actually asked her yet. I haven't sort of briefed her on it. So
He said it's a surprise.
Well, it's a surprise because they're kind of calling you out a little bit.
Oh, I thought I was going to get a gift.
No, they're calling you out
It's
because
not a gift.
they listen. They're intent listener.
Okay.
And here's the question. All
Is
right?
it you?
No, it's not me. I wish.
Okay.
It says.
Locke's our number one fan.
Okay. It says, I was listening to your episode the other day, the one about little white lies, and I remember Jadé saying she can't stand lying, even if it's to help someone or make them feel better.
Real.
It got me thinking about the whole Santa Claus thing. I know how much you guys love Christmas. And since you're new parents, I thought this would be the perfect topic to bring up. Do you think Santa Claus will be a part of your family traditions, even though it's essentially a lie that we tell kids to keep the magic alive?
That's weird. That's not a lie.
What?
Santa's real, obviously.
Okay.
So I'm not lying.
Okay, now you've had your little bit. Now you have to answer seriously.
I'm being serious.
Santa's real.
Santa is whatever you want him to be. And for me, he's very real.
Yeah, but for Fletcher, that'll have to be us, right? So we're Santa?
No, Santa is Santa.
Okay, so if I don't get him anything and you don't get him anything, the guy's going to have sweet FA.
Santa will show up.
Okay, so you are okay with white lies then?
I don't think that's a lie.
What,
I think
what
there's
could
a
it
difference
possibly
between being magic in a child's life and lying. Like, I'm not saying that if he doesn't wash his face at night, a goat's going to come and lick it. Like, that's a lie.
What do you mean?
Like, the goat will come lick off the remnants of the food if he doesn't wash his face before he goes to bed.
Is that
That's a
something
lie.
you were told? Wait, but Santa
No.
bought you gifts is magic.
That's magic. Yes. You've got to keep the magic alive for kids.
No, I think this person's right because you said in that episode where I said, what if you're like saving someone's feelings or like, it's not really going to affect them and you're telling them a little white fib just to sort of get them through and to keep the peace. And you said, no, it's never okay.
But that's not to save someone's feelings. That's the thing. It's like you're not saving anyone's anything. It's just believing in like the magic of life.
Yeah, okay, that's so beautiful. But you know that we could just not tell him about Santa then, right? Because
Ew.
telling him is essentially creating the lie. And
Yeah,
then we have
let's
to
not tell him anything
live with
fun.
it. No, but that makes sense, right? We could just say it's Christmas. Like we got you some gifts. We don't have to say Santa got them for you.
Santa is Christmas.
I feel like you're really just dodging this.
I'm not judging it. I'm giving you my honest answer, which is that I don't believe that's a lie.
Yeah, but
I don't put that in the lie category.
What do you put it in?
I told you, magic. It's magic.
Well, I'm going to say that from now on then. If ever I tell you a lie, I'm just going to go, well, it's just magic.
Like you tell me my dress looks good. And I go,
well, like
you
today
lied.
when you left the house, you asked if you look nice. I said yes, but you actually look like bit of a straitjacket in asylum or something.
Okay.
So.
Firstly, didn't ask if I look good. Didn't need your opinion. Secondly, you copied my outfit. So to some degree, you were inspired.
All right. I thought you were actually going to answer this question, but I feel like you just have absolutely dodged it. In this
I don't think it's a. I don't think that's. I just don't classify that as lying.
Okay. But that's like me saying, right, for example, I went to a strip club and got a lap dance, and then you go, that's cheating. I go, well, I don't classify it as cheating.
Sure, but if you do that, just know that I will leave you. Okay, for the sake of the argument, let's say it is a lie. I don't think it is. I would be happy telling my child that lie.
Okay, so you're okay.
We need to
with
put a
white
trigger
lies.
warning like at the start of the episode and say, do not listen when your kids are around.
That is true. We will chuck that in.
Let's chuck that in, yeah.
If they're under what? Like what age did you find out Santa wasn't real?
Well, I think I saw my mum wrapping presents in the middle of the night and I had an inkling.
Do you like how we've just gone from you said Santa's real at the beginning to you saw your mum wrapping presents and you had an inkling?
Well, there's no proof to this day that it was her, apart from the handwriting being suspiciously similar.
And you seeing with your eyes.
I still think there's a chance Santa exists.
Okay. Oh my God. Our kid's going to be so confused.
Well, technically you can't prove that he doesn't.
Yeah, that's totally true. Well, how about we do this? We won't get Fletch anything for Christmas and we'll see if anything magically comes down the chimney and under the tree.
Sure.
Beautiful.
You don't get him anything for Christmas and we'll see if anything appears under the Christmas tree.
Hey team, it's Jad and Locke here to give you the lowdown on a podcast you should add to your playlist.
Brooke Blurton and Maddie Mills host the First Things First podcast, and in it they share their personal yarns through a First Nations lens.
It's a raw, honest and unfiltered look into the lives of both Brooke and Maddie.
Search for First Things First wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's get stuck into some of the things that you guys dealt with in your relationships in the past, which you now think are absolutely crazy.
Okay, our first one says, he would work late nights at a bar, and from the beginning of the relationship, it was a non-negotiable. So in my head, I wasn't allowed to say anything regarding his work. I never saw him, which really took a toll on me and the relationship. I would wait up to see him at night. If he would finish work early, he would continue to sit at the bar and drink, and I would wake up for the gym the next day and he still wasn't home. I would try to discuss this with him and he would say I was being mean and needed to understand he is allowed to wind down after work with his friends. He had a rule that I couldn't discuss my issues over the phone and would have to wait until our day off together, which was Sunday, to speak. He made me feel like I was mean for raising an issue and would say, well, my work is my work and you know this. God, what a tit.
I feel like that's the culture almost in hospitality. So when I first started working at the clubs before there was any lockout laws or anything and venues had to shut at certain times and, like close at certain times, they would close when the sun came up. And it was wild.
I was still there.
Yeah, of course you were. But as in when we would finish work at 6 a.m., 6:30 and we'd like clean up the venue, people would sit there and start drinking.
Yeah.
And I always thought it was the craziest thing because I was
Yeah.
like, what are you guys doing at the end of the night? Like, don't you want to go home to sleep and like get some things done during the day the next day before you come back to work? But no, they loved it. And it was like the culture of hospo where they'd stay there after a shift and like spend hours drinking. So I get what this guy is doing, but also if you have a missus and the only time you see her is sort of after work, which was kind of what we had for a little while, you need that time together. So
it's not just that he's staying back and having a drink after work. Is that she's getting up to go to the gym. He's not there. She's not allowed to talk to him about it unless it's Sunday. Like, it's giving controlling vibes.
It is giving that you're getting taken for a bit of a ride.
Yeah.
Here. And yeah, I mean, if you're not allowed to even bring it up with him because you're mean by doing so,
you meanie poo.
I feel like he sounds like the emotional maturity of maybe like an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
So you might need to reconsider, or just even for him to do that, I don't think like you should stop him from doing that. If that's what he wants to do and that's how he wants to wind down, I think he should be able to do that. But maybe just not doing it every shift, because that seems like you might have.
Well, yeah, it's non-negotiable apparently.
Yeah.
So he will not negotiate.
Okay. True. Well. Yeah, I mean, we can't really help you with this one, but
I'd leave.
Yeah, you would leave for everything. I think.
Yeah, I'd leave.
Any slight inconvenience.
I'm sorry, I'm not putting up with any shit, especially at this age.
Yeah.
Not putting up with it.
Well, you don't really have to worry, do you? Because
Don't put up with your shit.
What?
You just tried to say Santa Claus wasn't real.
Oh, my God. All right. All right, guys, next one. It says, craziest thing I put up with that I look back on in shock is basically never leaving the house with my ex-partner. I'd beg to go out for a meal and he never wanted to. The craziest memory I have...
Is she in shackles? What's doing?
Well, I think she just wanted to go out with a partner and he didn't want to. Says the craziest memory I have is a night I cooked him dinner while we sat on the couch and asked if he wanted to head upstairs to sit on the rooftop to eat instead of on the couch. Oh. It was literally 6 steps away from his apartment and he refused because he didn't feel like it. This was me just trying to have one fleck of having a nice night. I'd also have to book our anniversary and Valentine's plans because he didn't believe in those things. What a time.
Well, she had to book them. Did they leave the house for them or did she book it in the living room?
She might have booked the Uber Eats.
I think I know what's happening here.
What? Don't say sus vibes, Julie.
No, he's a vampire.
What?
Can't go out in the sun. He'll sparkle. Give it away. So he had to stay inside. That's why I couldn't even go on the roof 6 steps away.
It was dinner time.
Case
probably
closed.
Dark.
Vampire. Vampire or just dodgy. Maybe he had another partner floating around.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it
didn't
sounds
want to be
like
seen with the side piece. No offense, sorry.
It sounds like maybe he's going through it and he might be suffering a little bit because someone who doesn't want to leave the house is probably
That's an empathetic perspective.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's nice. I like that.
Well, I'm saying you do not want to leave the house with your partner. Maybe there's something a little deeper going on. But
I just thought he was cheating.
Yeah, I know. That's your answer for 80% of stories, really.
Because usually that's what's happening.
I don't know if you can say that. But yeah, I mean, to have to book your own Valentine's plans and do all those things is not nice, but it seems like a bit of a cop-out to say you don't believe in them because they're not things you need to believe in. They're just things that, I would say I'm not the hugest advocate for like birthdays and Valentine's days either. Not that I don't want, because I know how much Jad likes them and appreciates them. I still want to do something nice for her, even though like, hypothetically, if it was, her job to do something for me or her turn, like I couldn't care less what we do, So, but you should still want to do something nice for your partner, I guess.
Yeah,
so.
Even if you don't appreciate it.
Yeah, so I hope you've sacked him off, and I think you have. So, all the best.
The next one says, something I put up with was I was meal prepped for and granted 7 almonds for a snack. Lunch was bland, dry-ass chicken with iceberg lettuce and maybe some steamed carrot or something. Grim times. That's weird.
See,
that's
you
weird.
Could think that's actually quite nice. He was making her lunch.
That's weird. 7 almonds.
Yeah, that seems like...
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that gives controlling to me.
They have better food in jail.
Yeah, do you have him cook for you? I don't know, maybe that's kind of nice. But I think we had this thing before, remember? It was an Ask Mum and Dad where a girl said that her partner was like really into the gym and like eating healthy and stuff, and he tried to push it on her and she was like, how do I tell him to bugger off?
Yeah.
So if you want to go back and listen to that advice, that's probably how you could help with your partner in that realm. But yeah, I feel like what if you just
forcing this upon you?
But what if you just said no thanks? That sounds heinous to me. Like I just want to eat regular food.
Just order some food. That's horrible.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's nothing worse than dried chicken.
And
there's a few things worse than dried chicken.
Is that every meal or is that just
it looks like
when you went to work or something?
7 almonds.
The thing is, right,
what if you wanted 8?
Some people would think that was grim. You could buy some, mate, corner store.
Yeah, go to the store, sneak in an extra
The thing is,
almond.
I would be okay with that lunch.
I know, sweetheart. You don't have taste buds, okay? I think when you got COVID, they never came back. Locke couldn't taste for months. I don't know if you guys know
like
this.
10 months,
I don't know if we've spoken about this before. 10 months. And now when we eat food, he will taste it and go, this is nice. And I'll taste it and go, this is literally the most disgusting thing I've ever had in my whole life. How can you enjoy this? And he also can't smell things. So I think that his taste buds and scent has been affected permanently and he just doesn't know.
Sometimes Jad gives me a cheeky Dutch oven and starts laughing and I can't smell anything.
No. Okay. Can you tell the real version of that story? You can't smell your own literal methane poisoning the air that we live in. Poor Fletcher probably has permanent lung issues because of you. Thank God your grandma doesn't listen to the pod. She'd be disgusted.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry that is your lunch, but yeah, I feel like you just have to get a little cheeky extra snack at work.
She said grim times, so I think that's in the past. Thank God.
Yeah. Thank God.
Hope you go cheeky cheesy from time to time now.
What? What's a cheeky cheesy?
Cheeseburger, cheeky cheesy.
Why don't you just say cheeseburger? All right. It says, our next story. Something crazy I put up with when I was going out with friends and within an hour having 20 plus missed calls and texts from my ex because he was worried about men trying to hit on me.
Oh.
He was deeply insecure and actually cheating on me. And at the time, I thought it was sweet that he was constantly checking up on me because he loves me, etc., etc. Now I have a normal husband, and if I'm out with friends, it's a quick text a couple of hours in to check if I'm alive, and that's it.
That's nuts. It's always the one who's actually cheating,
Yeah,
isn't
I
it?
know.
It's always the guilty one.
I know.
20.
Yeah,
20 plus missed calls is nuts.
the thing is, right, I just don't get the non-trusting in a relationship. Like, if you think that your partner's going out with friends and they're going to do dodgy things and that's their character and their nature and you don't trust them, don't be with them. Like,
but it's
not
because
healthy.
he couldn't be with himself.
It is true that he was cheating, so it was doomed to fail. But I'm just saying, if you feel that way about your partner and you're not cheating, like, something's not.
But he doesn't.
Meshing.
I don't think anyone feels that way about their partner unless they are doing something dodgy or something dodgy has just happened to them really recently and they just haven't built that trust back with like anyone yet. You know what I mean?
But I've also, like, in relationships in the past, I've been with people who I perhaps haven't trusted as much because I sort of knew their character and temperament when they were out. Like, they did really enjoy the attention from other people and they craved it, sort of thing.
Sure.
So, you know, you never know how far that's going to one day go. Whereas like with you, for example, like, you leave the house, you go overseas for work, like whatever it is, like I don't even think twice about it because I trust you. So it's a nice feeling, and I think it allows for like a healthy relationship. But I'm saying, if you're feeling those things, like, it's probably like not the right relationship. Like, if you don't trust your partner and you can't even let them go out with their friends, like I dare say it's not going to work.
Okay, well, we've wrapped that up. That's good.
Oh, lovely. Far else.
No, you've got a good point.
Thank you.
This is a short one. Short but sweet. Something I put up with in my last relationship, having to send photos of my outfits to my partner before I went out. Having to.
Did you ever have to do that?
They had to. Why? Maybe she dressed really badly.
Well, it sounds like it wasn't giving that to me. I don't think he was worried about like, hey, I don't want you to make a fool of yourself out there.
I'm just joking. What, as in like too provocative?
Yeah, it's giving a little bit of a controlling vibe there. And
maybe he just had a thing for fashion and wanted to see what she was wearing.
Oh, that's such an empathetic view. No, I think that unfortunately you've got yourself a bit of a controlling lad who maybe doesn't want you to show too much skin. And I think that, once again, that is absolutely outrageous. And that if you can't trust your partner and that they're going to,
That's awful.
Even showing a bit of, skin, like, what does that mean? It doesn't mean that you're going to let any, Tom, Dick and Harry come and touch you or flirt with you. It's just, it's a weird one. So, yeah, ladies, if you're out there, or fellas.
Have you ever seen something I've worn and had concerns with it?
Not concerns. I've thought you look like
what? Hang on.
Hot.
Okay, good.
And like it's...
I was concerned about where that was
like
going.
I don't know if provocative is the word. Like, as in, definitely you've worn some like sexier outfits where you can like see a lot of skin and stuff. But like...
But you've never looked at it and gone, oh, I wish you wouldn't wear that.
No. But also, like, I know that you like work in fashion and it's a bit different. It's like you love all these like crazy fits for aesthetic reasons. Not like I want every Tom, Dick and Harry to stare at me. So it's a bit different.
It's a look.
Yeah, but what if like this girl said the same thing?
Which good on you, doll.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying that I don't think a dude should ever be able to really.
That's so weird.
Yeah, tell you what you can and can't wear.
Exactly. So. In no scenario ever. That's not your position.
What if it's like you chucked on a bikini and you were going to a wedding? Like, no scenario ever, or
that's just inappropriate.
So there is a hypothetical.
No one's doing that though.
Okay. What about if they wore if you chucked on a white dress and they were going to a wedding?
Well, yes, that too.
Okay, so there are a couple of examples.
Well, look, that's different though.
Never say never. I mean, as soon as your partner's asking you to send photos, and that means they're not even present. Like, you're just like going out somewhere. It's not even like they're at home and they're like, oh, that's a bit, risque. Yeah. You're having to send them photos.
They want to double check it just in case.
Yeah, control, red flag.
Yucky.
Get out, girl. All right, next one. It says, girl. I bought a new couch from IKEA and they were going to charge me $200 to put it together. My ex-boyfriend, who I lived with at the time, offered to put it together for me for $150. I
What?
let him and paid him. Lol. He also did it wrong and I had to get someone to eventually redo it.
What the actual...
If that was my partner and they said, I'll do it for
That's
150, I would have
nuts.
said, pack your shit. I
Yeah,
would have said, get out of my
Get out.
house.
Literally get out. Who do you think you are?
That is so weird.
Also,
Imagine-
sorry, not even half price.
Yeah.
Not even...
Well, it's 25% discount. That's nice.
That's not even worth it.
25% girlfriend discount. That's pretty good.
That's insane. I don't know anyone who would ever do that.
Yeah, that is batshit.
That's arguably the worst one out of all
Imagine
this.
you live with your partner, they need help with something, and you bill them for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah. Next time you ask me to do a nappy, I'm going to charge you.
It would be the first time, so I wouldn't mind paying for it. It'd be a nice break.
Very funny.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. The nerve of your partner to do that is outrageous. The 25% discount is also outrageous. And yeah, if
25%.
your partner
Not even
should want to make life easy for you and help
Yes.
and do all these nice things where, you know, if you're going to struggle to do it, they put their hand up and willingly do it. So
And then someone had to come redo it, so she probably paid double.
yeah, I hope she got her money back.
Yes, that's big refund vibes.
Got the 150 from him and then paid the person. who did it properly.
100%.
You have to.
I'd actually charge some sort of like tax,
I love that.
you know, for wasting my time
Nice.
and doing it wrong.
Nice. I love that.
I want this guy's number. I need to have a chat to him.
Yeah, ladies,
wrong
gentlemen,
with
if
you?
your partner is charging you to help out in any way, let's leave.
Sack him. Give him the old sack. We need a sack button.
What?
I'd press it so much during the pod.
I know you would. Sus vibe button, cheating button,
We
sack
need
it button.
Yeah, we need sus vibes and sack.
All right, what's the next one?
It's a good word, sack. All right. Next one says, spent 8 years in a relationship with a guy who smoked bongs for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Oh, God. Couldn't ever travel anywhere because he couldn't go a day without it. Managed to get him out of the state on one occasion and I ended up eating alone every meal because apparently a side effect of withdrawing from long-term weed addiction is a complete loss of appetite. That was only 4 years in, still stuck around for another 4 before I mustered up the guts to leave.
Oh, that is edge.
He must have been like really nice around that for you to put up with that.
Yeah, he must have been like
Must have been like
Brad Pitt
Prince
looking
Charming
dude. Yeah.
around breakfast, lunch and dinner.
Yeah, it might have been, I don't know, heir to some fortune or something, because that's interesting behaviour to put up with.
Yeah. I'm glad you've left, but that's
yeah,
a long time.
I don't know much about like weed. I didn't know that it did that to you. I didn't know it cancelled your appetite. I didn't know that.
Well, it makes you very hungry when you're doing it, so when you withdraw, perhaps it does the
So
opposite.
on the holiday, she should have technically let him keep smoking, and then he would have come to meals with her.
Yeah, but you can't travel with your bong.
You could get something in the new
Probably.
location, right?
Probably get pulled
You
over.
put a call out.
Probably get arrested.
For what?
I know someone who accidentally travelled with something in their...
Accidentally.
Supposedly forgot it was in their bag, went to Bali.
Ooh.
I know.
Was it Chappelle? Were you mates with Chappelle?
No, but it was like it was the white stuff too.
But like nothing happened?
No, they got really, really lucky.
Whoa.
They didn't realise till they came back home. Like hadn't checked that pocket in a bag that was in
my
their
God.
suitcase. Isn't that nuts?
Yes, that is mental.
So scary.
Imagine you made that sort of grave error and then you're in jail for 20
Yeah,
years
I
in
know.
Indonesia.
I
That'd be
know.
crazy.
Yeah, right?
Oh, did they buy a lottery ticket when they got home?
No, I don't know.
I mean, you've already won the lottery there, I guess. You got
Exactly,
20
yeah.
years of your
You'd
life.
feel like you had a second life.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyway, guys, needless to say, if you're dating someone who has billies for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, probably don't.
All right, next one. It says, my ex made me FaceTime him and hide my phone in the car when I picked up my friends from clubbing. He made sure I didn't go inside and that I wouldn't drive any males home, as well as to make sure we spoke about him so he could see what my friends thought of him. That is a serial killer.
That's corked.
What were you going to say?
The other word. That's really, really, really weird.
I just don't understand, like, that you read and you just go like, that is a creepy dude,
no,
right?
100%.
Like, as in,
that's you're a freak.
like
sorry.
he's pretty much essentially having CCTV footage of you to make sure that you don't enter a
literally
club.
spying on you, and you're going,
And then
yeah, no
listening
worries.
to your private conversations with
Yeah.
your friends and then making you bring
Yeah.
him up so he can see. Like, as
How
soon
they
as that
speak
happens
about
once,
you.
like, surely, guys, you got to realize, like, that
Love is blinding, truly. Like when you're in a relationship with someone who you think you love and who you think loves you, people do weird shit that they just accept, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
it truly is blind, because if someone even like suggested I do that, I would
Yeah.
be like, what's wrong
What
with
are you
you? Like,
talking
yeah,
about?
that is absolutely cooked behavior.
it brings to light how other things in the relationship must be for that conversation to occur and not be weird and to actually be agreed upon. It's like, what else is he doing in this situation to make her feel like that's necessary?
Yeah.
And that she should do it instead of kind of being like, hang on, that's weird.
Yeah.
Like, what do
and
you
like
mean?
that story before when she was like, oh, let's talk about it, or, you know, I
Yeah.
want to discuss you staying back. And then he called her mean, you know, like,
Yeah.
so when you have these, you know, if you bring these things up with them and then they sort of gaslight you into feeling like you're the crazy one, then
Bit of coercive control in this episode.
yeah,
guys.
not nice. And as we said in last week's episode, we said that some of these we wanted to bring up and talk about, just to remind you guys that if any of you are dealing with sort of similar things in a relationship and these things, you know,
Yes.
jump out at you and you're like, oh, my partner's sort of done similar
If
things.
your partner is
and-
spying on you, that is not normal.
Yeah.
Not okay.
Or trying to access your private conversations
Yeah.
with your friends about what they say about
Yes.
them is just very
Not-
odd. So
Not all right.
keep your wits about you out there, kids. And don't date the crazies.
Jesus.
Last one. We have random one, but an ex of mine once told me I couldn't stay over it. I put this one in for you, by the way, because I thought maybe, you know, you would resonate with it.
Okay.
Said, my ex once told me that I couldn't stay over at his as he thought I was possessed by the devil. At the time, I was really concerned, but now I'm 26 and a little wiser. He was definitely just cheating.
Oh my God. That's nuts.
Yeah, but you think that
That's
sort of
nuts.
stuff exists.
I'd freak out. If someone said that to me, I'd freak the fuck out.
So he would have got you. He would have gone like, oh my God, yeah, no worries. And you would have stayed
I'd be
home.
freaking out. I go, why? And he goes, you're doing this weird thing in the middle of the night. I go, oh my God, I need to see an exorcist. That's scary.
No, it's
Why
not.
would you do that to someone? That's awful.
But that was his way of getting her out so he could, what seems like, cheat on her.
I've never heard anything like that in my life. Like,
Yeah.
of all the excuses and reasons and things that I've heard for people to not see their partners,
He could have just
that's
said he
the
wasn't feeling well.
That is the craziest one that I've heard.
Yeah.
Sorry, think you might be possessed, doll. Can only see you during the day.
Wait, did blokes talk like that?
It's like an attitude, honey. It's like a persona.
You always say dull. I don't get it.
What don't you get about it?
Like, is it meant to be like, are you, like, is it a slur?
It's like
Is
it's
it
like
talking
sorry.
down?
Is
What
it a slur?
Yeah, like, I don't.
Is doll a slur?
No, you know, like when you
What
go,
world
like,
do you live in?
You know, like when you go, "Oi, champ!" Like it's kind of meant to be a
Yes.
little bit belittling. It's not meant to be like you are literally a champion. You know, so I'm saying is dole like you know, it's kind of like a belittling term.
In that context, yeah. No, but it can also be endearing. It's like honey or babe.
Oh, okay.
Are you following?
No, because I wouldn't.
Do you want me to look up the definition? Or?
I don't think I'd use champ endearingly. So I'm saying, is it?
Well, it's
kinda
like you
that?
would. You might say, "Oh, buddy, that's rough." You know, I'm going, "Oh, doll."
Okay.
But then in this other setting, it's like, you know, it's like using the word mate.
I think you just need to spend a little bit less time online.
No one online is saying doll.
Just join us in the real world.
I'm very much using the word doll as much as I like. Thank you very much.
Love it. Guys, we are coming to the end of the things that you guys have dealt with in your relationships in the past, which you now realize are batshit crazy. And I'm glad reading all those that you guys are no longer dealing with them and you do realize that they are crazy because they are all absolutely mental. So fingers crossed you are not with any of those people and you have moved past it. Hey team, it's Jad and Locke here to give you the lowdown on a podcast you should add to your playlist.
Brooke Blurton and Maddie Mills host the First Things First podcast, and in it they share their personal yarns through a First Nations lens.
It's a raw, honest and unfiltered look into the lives of both Brooke and Maddie.
Search for First Things First wherever you get your podcasts.
As always, we are ending this week's episode with an Ask Mum and Dad, whereby you guys write in and are looking for a bit of advice from us. So this one comes from a girl, and as I said before, she's looking for a little bit of help with some proximity to a boyfriend and ex-boyfriend. So it says, my boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years, and he lives in a small country town that's about 3 hours from the city. The issue is that my ex-boyfriend, who really hurt me and manipulated me for a year after we broke up, has just moved back to that same small town. He was moving in with my friends while I was still struggling to heal. My boyfriend lives on his family property and he and my ex have been friends since school, which makes things even more complicated. Honestly, I'm feeling so conflicted that I don't even want to visit my boyfriend because I might run into my ex. If it were up to me, I'd never want to see that horrible bloke again. I've talked to my boyfriend about how I feel, but I'm at a loss for what to do next. I don't want to tell him he can't hang out with his friend, especially since it's tough to find people his age in that country town. The situation is keeping me up at night and I just don't know what to do.
Oh, yeah, I can really empathise with you. That's a hard one.
That's a bit of a yuck one.
That's
But I feel like if someone treated you so poorly and then you told your current partner about it, like I wouldn't want to be friends with the person that treated you so horribly. Like that's such a
but
weird
imagine if it was, it's one of your childhood friends, you know?
Well, I wouldn't be dating you first.
I know. You've made that very clear in the past.
No, but if someone, she said, if it was up to me, I'd never want to see that horrible bloke again. Like, sounds like something pretty, he treated you pretty poorly.
Yeah, of course.
So if you told your new partner that, like, hey, this person's done X, Y, and Z to me, it's really affected me.
But you never know. It could have been a toxic relationship on both sides, right? Like...
Yeah, but you sort of have to take your partner's side, right?
Yes, I don't disagree. But I am saying that he's obviously got a very different relationship with this other person who might have never done a single thing wrong to him. So it's like, are you just like... It's hard, right? Like in situations where you've got a really good friend where someone else has done something dirty by them, are you just never speaking to that person?
I don't think that you necessarily agree with what you're saying even.
What do you mean?
Well, there has been instances in the past where, like, let's say you've had a conflict with someone, and then I followed that person, and you've been like, "Why do you follow them?" Like, as in we had so you've sort of said like,
when I was younger, sure.
Well, this person could be younger, but I'm saying that you would expect me to side with you irrespective of my relationship with that person, and I don't necessarily.
But if you're not good friends with them.
Yeah, but
then who cares? Why do you need to follow someone who you don't know? Because if I don't like them, if you're friends with them, it's very different.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that if you had an issue with it, like and you're my partner, like it would be weird for me to go against it and fight it and say I don't have an issue with it. Like
but if they've been
affects
good
you.
Friends since childhood, that's what I'm saying. It's different. That's why it's hard.
Yeah, I get it's a little bit different.
Like it's like what you just like ignore years and years of friendship that you might really value for a situation that like you were never a part of that. Actually has nothing to do with you that someone else is affected by. It's hard. It's a really tricky situation.
It's definitely tricky.
It's a really tricky situation.
If I found out that someone I was friends with treated you in a way that I deemed to be like morally and ethically horrible, then I would struggle to be friends with them.
But maybe you don't. Maybe her lived experience is different to something that you would perceive. Maybe you would look at it and go, yeah, that's shit, but like you were also partaking in that situation and maybe were perpetuating it slightly. I'm not saying anyone's, I don't know the situation. I can't talk here. I'm just saying.
We don't know your toxic situation, what he did to you or what you might have done
we
to
don't
each
know,
other,
like maybe... Yeah, in this situation, the partner doesn't deem it to be as bad as you would because he hasn't experienced it himself and can't possibly understand it. So, do you know what I mean? Like, it's hard.
But in my experience, that's not how relationships work.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
If something affects you
want someone to just back you up, like, unconditionally, whatever, like they're your partner, they should be standing by you now.
Well, for example, if you had an issue with something that I said, I couldn't just say to you, oh, I don't see it as a big deal. Because it's affected you and you'd have a problem with it.
Yes.
So it's no different to that.
Yes, and I'm not saying that he's saying that. I'm just saying that maybe it's not to the degree where he feels like he needs to sever ties with a lifelong friend.
Sure, but then you're saying to your partner that I don't really care about this relationship as much. So we're not really going to progress if you're literally not even going to visit me because you're too scared of this bumping into this person from your past.
Well, I think the solution here is this person needs to not let that past relationship. I know it's easier said than done, but don't let him win. Like, don't let that ex win because that's kind of what you're doing by pulling away from him and your friends that you share and your partner, not seeing your own partner now who he also has a relationship with. Like, you're letting him win by doing that. You know what I mean? Like, the relationship's over and he still has control over you. He's still controlling your life in a sense. Like, don't let him do that. Like, you need to change the way that you think and go, you know what? No, like, I'm not going to back down from things that I deserve and that I need and that I want so that I don't have the chance of running into you. And if you do run into him, I don't know, make a little plan in your head. Like, how am I going to approach this? What am I going to do? What's going to make me feel better? What's going to make me feel more confident? And, attack it from that perspective. But I don't think the answer is to pull away because all you're doing in that situation is you're just, it's your own life that you're affecting, really. It's not his.
And I guess if you really feel that strongly about not visiting your partner because you don't want to bump into them, you could always say to your partner,
come here.
I'm not comfortable and you come visit me
Exactly.
in the city or wherever. Or you meet halfway and you have a weekend, in a little interim spot or something. So
I would hope that you wouldn't have to do that. And I think the solution here is you got to stand your ground and hold your head up high and not let it affect you to that degree. Because, that's sad. It's unfortunate and it's a shitty situation. I do empathise with you because that would really, really suck. But yeah, you got to, I don't know, rebuild your confidence and don't let it control your life anymore.
I hope that helps, my friend. We appreciate you writing in and sorry for the tricky situation, but hope you find some solace in that. Guys, that got a little bit serious at the end there.
Yeah.
But thank you once again for always checking in, tuning in. Every week it means the world to us that you guys listen in, and without you guys we wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts, and we appreciate having you, and we look forward to chit-chatting again next week.
And Santa Claus is real.
Yep. And if you did want to act like a little early Christmas present for us, feel free to leave us a review or a little comment on the episode.
Yes, absolutely.
See you guys next week.
See you soon.
Hey team, it's Jad and Lach here to give you the lowdown on a podcast you should add to your playlist.
Brooke Blurton and Maddie Mills host the First Things First podcast, and in it they share their personal yarns through a First Nations lens.
It's a raw, honest and unfiltered look into the lives of both Brooke and Maddie.
Search for First Things First wherever you get your podcasts.